Okay, solve the system of equations. We have 2 times x plus 4 times y equals 5, and then x minus y equals negative 2. Okay, there's two ways you could do this. You could add the y to both sides, and then x would be by itself, and you could use that as your base, and you can do the base replace, the substitution method. But usually when I don't have an x or a y by itself, and they're lined up like this, where the x's, the y's, the equals, and the constants, we're going to apply the elimination method. Elimination. Okay, so I need to find the xy. So that's how you label the xy solution. Okay, so the first thing I do is I make a column, okay, for my x's. So it's going to be 2x and 1x. Okay, I actually write that so it's bigger. Okay, you don't have a lot of workspace, just write it here. 2x plus 4y equals 5. And then x minus y equals negative 2. Now you can see better what you're doing. Okay, so I arrange my x's and y's into columns. Okay, so look here, look here. Now the first thing you check for is if any of these, if the x's or the y's add to 0, that if you would add these, would they make 0? No, that'd be 3 and that would be 3, so nothing makes 0. And you don't have a match for the x's or the y's, so you need to employ the multiplication rule. So let's eliminate the x's. So if we have a 1 here, we're going to multiply the top by 1. If we have a 2 here, we're going to multiply the bottom by 2. And we're going to come over here and write a new system. Okay? So 1 times 2x is 2x, okay, you can write plus. Now this is a 4 times a 1y, 4y, and then 5. Now bottom, 1x times 2 is going to be 2x, and that minus means it'll be a negative 1y, so negative 1y times 2 is negative 2y. And then negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. You can either write minus 2y or plus negative, but it has a negative value. Now I do this column thing again, and I have a match here. Now you're like, what does that help? They don't add to 0. That's 4x, and that's 2y. Well, if I make this negative, they will. I can do that as long as I then make the negative 2y positive and the 4 positive. Okay, you make the whole bottom equation opposite. If you have to make the one term opposite, you got to make the rest of it opposite. Now adding is going to do the job because you have 0x, which you don't need then. X is eliminated. And then you're going to have 6y. And then you're going to have 9. Okay, so then you would divide each side by 6. And y would be 1.5 or 1.5 or 3 over 2. Okay, so y is 1.5. Now to find your x solution, okay, circle the first equation you got. 2x plus 4y equals 5. Then you substitute your answer 1.5 for y. Okay, so 4 times y, well, we're going to replace the y with the 1.5. Y is now out. Okay, so I multiply 4 by 1.5. That's 6, positive 6. Now, you don't put 6y though. The y is gone. I replaced it with 1.5. So it's 2x plus constant 6 equals 5, okay? Then you subtract 6, and that would be negative 1. And you would divide by 2, and that's going to be negative 0.5, or you can put negative 1/2. It doesn't matter to me. Either one of them's okay. Okay, next one. 2x plus 4y equals 22, 5x plus 8y equals 45. Okay, so I'm going to write this so I got more room to work here. And we're going to be using elimination. Remember, if you have one letter on all by itself, you would box it up and do the base replace method, but I don't. Okay. Okay, so can your x's or y's add to 0 as is? Nope, that's 7 and that's 12. Nope, and you don't have a match, so you need to multiply by 5 here and by 2 here. Okay, so it's going to be 10x plus 20y, 5 times 22. I know I didn't give you a lot of workspace here, but 110. And then the bottom is 10x, which is the point, plus 16y. Then 45 times 2 is 90. Now you have a match right here. Okay, the match is good, and you're still going to add, but that's not going to make 0 unless you make that a negative. Then you would make the 16 negative and the 90 negative. Remember, if it's a negative and you have to switch it, it goes to positive. So that would be 0x, and that would be 4y, 20 plus negative 16. 20 plus negative 16 is the same as 20 minus 16. Then I would take 110 and add negative 90, and I come up with 20. Okay. Then I would divide each side by 4, and y would equal 5. So my y solution is 5. Now to find your x solution, use the first equation you have, or you can use that one too. It doesn't matter. You can use either of the equations. So 2x plus 4y equals 22. Now, here's the y. It's multiplied by 4, but not anymore. It's going to be multiplied by 5. 4 times 5 is 20, not 20y. So we have 2x plus 20 equals 22. Okay, so now we have multiplication by 2 and plus 20. So we're going to minus 20. 22 minus 20 is 2. So 2 times x equals 2. Then I divide each side by 2 and I get 1. X equals 1. So 1 and 5.